you are going to meet an artist whose influence really reaches across the entire world to millions and millions, tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions of people. And of course, we're going to learn from him today. Please meet Bill Cohn. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
If you're hearing some noise, I'm hearing lots of, I've got a tin roof here in my studio, and all of a sudden things started falling at it. I guess it's windy and there's acorns falling or something.
Acorns? I thought it was confetti.
Do you don't have acorns in California?
Oh, yes, we do. We got plenty of oak trees out here.
All right. So Bill is, tell people what you do in your work life, which kind of melds with your artistic life.
Sure. I'm a designer at Pixar. I've started on Toy Story about 25 years ago. And I've done set work and color work, and I've been the production designer on a few features, Bugs Life and some of the Cars features. And now I'm more on the development side, doing a lot of color work and concept work. It keeps me busy.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is. And, I think on a Bugs Life back in the late 90s, I started going outside to paint to basically figure out how to use pastels. And that's how I got started with using pastels. I'm still using them for landscape work outside.
I think this is an interesting discussion, and that is that you, Pixar, you others do a lot of outdoor painting now, or have brought a lot of people in for workshops to get people outdoors to paint. Why?
Well, it's therapeutic. I mean, it's if you work in an office and stare at a computer a lot, it's really nice to go outside and paint. That's one real positive. Another one is actually that just studying nature. And it took me about, 6 months of painting outside to start to realize that super powerful quality of learning from nature. But I got ideas to work on the films from painting outside. Just even driving to work, I could see light that was like, oh, I know where I could use that. So it suddenly became this huge resource that sort of fed back into the work I was doing. And I think other people at work got interested in that as well. It's sort of like if you use a computer to light shots for a movie, when you go outside, you're sort of trying to light a shot, if you think about it from the filmmaking side. But you don't have the undo button so much, and your colors are either paint you mix up or you got pre-mixed color like pastels. So it's a different set of problem solving, but it's the same idea. You're analyzing light and try to understand it or express something with it.
Well, and one of the reasons I fell in love with plein air painting was for the same reason, is that I thought I knew about light when I was painting from photographs, and once I went outside, I realized how little I knew about light, and how little I knew about form and shadow, because shadows get darker in photographs, light gets blown out in photographs. So it really makes a huge difference. And that's why I'm a big promoter of plein air painting.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, your eye sees completely differently than the camera, I think. It's really how our brain sticks it all together, because I think we will take an exposure with our eyes in the shadow, and then we'll look into the light, and the eye instantly recalibrates. And then we build a cumulative image that's sort of an ideal that exists in our mind, even if the camera can never get it, so you got to put it down with paint.
So what are you going to do for us today, Bill?
Well, I was in Yosemite with Paul Kreider and some other plein air artists a few weeks ago, and I did a couple of little studies. They're all over this board, but I'm going to basically, this guy, let's see. This is what I did before a snowstorm came in. I think I was on this one as well, and then the snow just came and wiped it all out. It only lasted for about 20 minutes, but anyways, I'm going to do a bigger version of that. There's a value study.
Cool. It even looks in that painting, it even looks like it's about to snow. So it looks cold. You really captured it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back to you in a minute. I'm going to let you set up your things. I will be back to you, and then we're going to do a little demo and also talk a little bit about all the things that you do and the things that you're involved in. Sound like a plan?
That sounds great.
All right. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Well, welcome to day number Drum roll, please. 244 days since COVID quarantines began. We've been here for you pretty much every day, with the exception of weekends the last 2 or 3 weeks. I've been kind of scooting out on the weekends, but forgive me for that. Anyway, I wanted to be here for you just to kind of keep you upbeat, keep you positive, keep your head in the game, make you think about doing something you love or want to learn about something that you love, rather than focusing on all the crazy negativity of 2020. So I've got a couple of things I want to talk to you about. First up, the question was, am I going to be on Thanksgiving or not? And the answer is, I'll be here on Thanksgiving. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a brief, it's not going to be a long one, but I'm going to do a brief Thanksgiving special. And we've got some special prizes. So if you happen to be around at 12 noon Eastern on Thanksgiving, tune in. You have a chance to win some special prizes. Coming on Monday is going to be day number 250. Can you believe it? Day number 250 coming on Monday. And so, there's my little thing for Monday. So day 250, we've got something really big planned. It's going to be fun. First off, we've got a lot of big prizes on Monday. And secondly, we're going to be doing something new and fun and fresh. It's called the Battle of the Mediums. We need a voiceover. Battle of the Mediums. All right. Battle of the Mediums. We got 4 mystery artists yet to be announced, who are going to be doing the same painting at the same time simultaneously on the show. And one's going to be doing in oil, one in watercolor, one in gouache, and one in pastel. And they're going to duke it out. And there will be a prize awarded, and you get to choose the winner. That's why it's important to be here live on day 250. You get to choose the winner, and that winner will win a prize, a pretty significant, important prize. And so you want to be here on Monday at 12 noon Eastern, okay? Also want to tell you guys that, as you know, we at Streamline have lots and lots of things that we do. We do newsletters and emails, but one of the things we do, we've got thousands and thousands of hours of art instruction video that we've produced, well over 600 videos with probably over 300 artists. And we're going to be doing some big, deep Black Friday discounts. We do it once a year, and we only do it to the people who are on our email list. And so if you're not on that list, you're not going to see them, because I don't think we advertise them on Facebook or anywhere else. So if you want to get onto that list, you just go to our website, Lily Art Video. Just go to lilyartvideo.com. And then you will see towards the top of the page, it'll say Black Friday discounts. And that's where you sign up to be on the, I'm trying to see if I can find it for you. I guess I can't, but that's where you sign up to be on the list. And of course, we're always sending out stuff. We've got 2 or 3 new ones a month, and we got lots of events and magazines and other things. And so you want to be on that list anyway. And we send you too much stuff, ignore it. Just don't hit the spam button, okay? Because we do send a lot of stuff, but that one time you don't open it is going to be the one time you go like, oh no, I missed a trip to Bora Bora or something. All right. So a couple of things. Tomorrow's guest will be Ken Salaz. Ken is going to show us how he does landscape painting, and you're not going to want to miss that. Of course, today our guest is Bill Cohn, who you're going to learn more about in a minute. I want to remind you guys that all the videos we've done for 244 days in a row are on YouTube. Search it out at Streamline Art Video. And you can subscribe there, and that way you get everything. And we'd appreciate it if you do subscribe, because that way they come to you, and you'll have access to everything once we take it off public access, which will happen eventually. A reminder that the end of the month is coming up, and at the end of every month, it's when you want to be registered, get your paintings in for Plein Air Salon. You can, they don't have to be fresh from this year. They just have to be good paintings. Remember, every judge likes something different, and so get yours in. Almost all of our judges are art gallery people, and a lot of people end up getting discovered that way. So this is Dave Santianos, who won the $15,000 grand prize this year, and of course we have monthly prizes, and we have the annual prizes, 30 grand in cash awards. So be sure to get to pleinairsalon.com and register. Also, if you're new to us, thank you for tuning in. We're here every day at 12 noon, and we're here every day at 3 p.m. I'll explain that in a minute. But we have a free art instruction video for you. It's 97 amazing painting secrets from the world's best artist, and it's yours as our gift to you. You can get streaming or DVD, and just go to 97tips.com. It's our gift to you. We have a mega event coming up. That mega event is called Watercolor Live. It's coming January 28th through 30th. We're waiting till the Christmas rush is all over, and we know you're going to be wanting to do this. I'm excited about it. I'm a plein air painter, and I typically do oils in plein air. That I'm realizing that I need to take watercolor out a lot of the time because, quite frankly, I can always have watercolor with me. I can't always have my oils with me, especially on family trips and business trips and things like that. My wife sees me taking my paints on a family trip. She might say, hey, you're supposed to spend time with family. But if I can sneak my watercolors into the bag, I can at least be watercolor painting, in the living room when we're sitting around with the family. So we have the world's best watercolor artists who are going to be on Watercolor Live. And we even have a beginner day for people who want to learn from the beginning. So check that out at watercolorlive.com. Now, today at 3 p.m., the great Amory Bowling is going to be doing Seascape Painting Secrets, and that's going to be at 3 p.m. We do a video, a sample of our many hundreds of videos. We do a sample every day at 3 p.m. for you and an interview with the artist. And so that will be also on where you're watching or on YouTube or Facebook at Streamline Art Video. And it's from this video that she did, Streamline Secrets, Seascape Painting Secrets. And of course, we offer on the day of those broadcasts, we offer a discount for you. So check that out. She's also done this one called How to Paint the Grand Canyon. So that's today at 3 p.m., Amory Bowling. And just check it out right here. Now, I would like to show you a little bit of work from Bill Cohn. Just want to pick some of these. These are pastel pieces that he's done that are just amazing. And of course, you've seen the influence of his work in many, many, many movies around the world from Pixar. So please welcome Bill Cohn. Bill, you back?
I am back. Do you want to
Okay.
see me or what I'm going to be working on?
All right, good. We got your camera lined up. So what I'll do, I forgot one other thing. Please forgive me. I'll just mention this real quickly. We have a prize today. The winner is Catherine Noel Frederick from Oregon, who wins the plein air apron. Thank you, Catherine. And if you guys leave comments, we'll be picking from the comments. Today's prize is a digital subscription to Plein Air Magazine, which is the #1 selling art magazine in America. So if you guys leave comments, be sure to say where you're from. And also, if you have questions for Bill, please put them in there and I'll read them to him as they come along. Okay, Bill, it's all yours.
Okay. Hi, folks. You don't need to see me. I mean, I'm over here, but this is what I'm going to be working on. Like I mentioned earlier, I was in Yosemite painting with a group of artists, and I think I can actually pull this down. Here's some more of these paintings. I'm going to try to do this without knocking anything over, but these are other studies where I was working and the snow just came in, and this was like a good morning where I got 2 paintings on the Merced River going without bad weather. It was just sort of calm and not sort of, the sun really didn't come out for a long time, but it gave me a chance to work on those. So I'm going to try something a lot simpler. Those have also been cleaned up in the studio. I find that some of this stuff, I can't get it the way I want it when I'm there. And I think it's just because I'm out of practice for the most part. But anyway, here's this piece was done, kind of from the trunk of my car because it was going to rain. In fact, it started to rain. So I just stayed under the trunk. With pastels, not so great because every car that goes by, the mist in the air just sort of blows right under the trunk lid and starts to get all over your pastels and everything. So I had to bail. It's actually, but it was
Hey, Bill,
go ahead.
I bought a little device at a sporting goods store, and it's a little clear plastic tent. It's about 3 feet by 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet and about 4 feet tall, big enough to sit in a chair, do your pastels, and see outside and not get wet.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there's still, I think research is needed to figure out what works. It is weird about just the fact that the air has so much moisture in it during a rainstorm that if the wind blows, it just blows all that moist air right onto your work. Yeah, that's where oil, you guys win in the bad weather. There's no question about it. Even watercolor in the rain is not, I mean, it's just, you're just going to get wet in the wet, basically, I think, out of it. Anyways, I'm just babbling here. This is a value study based, I'm actually looking at a photograph. The image I'm painting, this is really sort of right here. So about half of this is in here. You can see this angle going up. What I love about Yosemite, that I don't go there enough. Paul keeps telling me, Paul Cratter, he goes there a lot. Go to Yosemite, and so I finally got an opportunity to go with him. And you get the scale of stuff, like, here's, a person in the shot would be about as high as that.
We can't see that. It's a little low.
Okay, right here, like just the base of this tree, and then you got these slopes, and then you have these walls, these granite walls. So the scale, you're stepping back and things are actually getting bigger as you go back, not smaller. It's just extraordinary scale relationships for things, which is impressive. And the type of spaces you have, the colors on the granite, the rocks, of course, rocks and water. But so this is not what I would usually paint, actually. It's just that when I saw these walls above and these big slopes against these colorful trees, I got excited. So that's my rationalization. Let's see. Okay, so I got started just because I am not the world's fastest painter.
Somebody asked why you don't use gloves.
Because I use my fingers a lot, to be honest. It's probably a good idea to use gloves, like gloves to keep my hands from getting cold, or gloves for the actual painting process.
I think they meant for the painting process, just so that you're not getting your fingers all gooped up.
I'm so used to the touch of this. I suppose I could get used to gloves. It's just funny. This is a very primitive kind of what you might call a childish medium to some degree. I'm just going to try to lay in some things here really quick to kind of map out where stuff goes. It's a big thing here.
I've started using oil sticks, which you use very much the same way you would with pastel, and mixing them with my oil paints. That's been kind of fun.
Yeah, you can probably make marks that you wouldn't make or couldn't make necessarily with the paint. But I have to admit, I'm jealous of the painters in a ways. I just because I think the brush work and the ability to manipulate a brush is a wonderful. It's like a conductor's baton, but you got color in the baton. You're spraying the orchestra with it or something. I don't know, but. I just want to get some color into this mess with that.
Oh, we have somebody watching from Dubai. Welcome, Dubai. Kazakhstan, welcome.
Kazakhstan.
South Africa.
Aren't they supposed to be asleep?
Yeah, I think you're going to put them asleep. That's why they tune in.
Well, they must have heard about it.
Yeah, this is your world renowned, Bill.
Well, yeah, something like that.
Roscommon, Ireland, I believe.
My goodness. From all over, Eric.
Oh yeah, the entire United States of America is watching.
That relaxes me to hear that,
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's a pleasure to tune every New Zealand. Wow, Hazel in New Zealand. Probably another day there.
I'm going to answer a question that hasn't been asked, but I know if there's pastelists watching, they are thinking it. And they're probably like, you use Canson paper? Why? I hate that paper. How come you don't use sanded paper? It's one of the most often asked questions I get when I teach. And the truth is, I just got used to using it. I admit that sanded paper has advantages, primarily that it will take more punishment. It will actually almost magnetically hold on to the pigment. Which really is useful if you're just sort of hammering down color, and you can correct pretty easily and things like that. But let's see, I'm starting to relax and have fun here. Okay, but with the Canson, it doesn't, you run out of, the paper will actually just stop accepting pigment if you just lay it on too thick. And the thing that actually works with Canson is that you can just use a lighter touch. And it's probably not quite as simple as it sounds, because if you're used to really pressing down with sandpaper, it just doesn't, you got to learn to lighten it up. And I think, sandpaper has more friction, so you kind of have to use more pressure to get it to move around,
All right.
But Canson, it'll slide around on the paper easier, so it's a smoother mark. If you're going on sandpaper, it's like, like dragging a garbage can over the driveway at night, when you're taking out the garbage. But see, sandpaper insult right there, smack them. Anyways, I'm just used
And
to
do you
using,
almost always use the side of your pastel, or do you sometimes use the tips or the edges?
I'm a side of the pastel guy. It's like a giant bristle brush.
All right.
And you can, I use a drywall. Here, I'll show you right here. Terry Ludwig, the pastel manufacturer, actually told me about this. Like, here is a piece of drywall sandpaper, just like a screen.
Can you hold it up a little bit so we can see it?
And
Drywall sandpaper, yeah.
And it's just, I just cut out a slot like that, and you can just put the stick over this stuff and sand it back to a, I'm not going to do this in front of you because the garbage can's over here. But if you want an edge, you just
sand it down for an edge.
You go like that, and you can get a corner back, because these are your points, are actually the corners of a rectangle are really where the point is. If you're used to the idea, you hold a pencil and there's a point at the end of it like this, that is not how a pastel works. And
Right.
a hard pastel, yeah, but a soft pastel, you need sort of the structure of these edges, and that corner is actually your point. I mean, you can get a really narrow, skinny line. Can you see those? So it gives you more control than you realize, but you're still sort of holding this chunk of stuff. So it doesn't have the, a brush or anything. I think has a level of it allows your hand to sort of do more that the hand can actually do in a sensitive way. These are a little blunter, chunkier, rougher things. So I don't think there's some great, like Daniel Green, the portrait artist. I think maybe Silverman also does pastels. They do beautiful portraiture. Is it Elaine? I can't think of her name. So there's some great people that do really tight realism with this medium.
Yeah.
So it doesn't prevent you from doing that, but it's not always your best friend, I think, relative to other tools in other mediums, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
So
well, we found out it's 9 p.m. in the UAE and Dubai. We have Austria and Tyrol tuning in. Several people from India. Welcome, India. We have Israel.
Okay.
Welcome, Israel. That's really fun. All right. So can you kind of explain what you're doing as you go, just so people understand what your thought process is?
Sure.
If that's possible to capture what your thought process is.
Yeah, I'm not being as systematic. The most detail in this image is in this area. The most edge and sort of color shift, like gradients going from greens to warm greens to yellow, going into the oranges. So this is the sort of the most, you could spend the most time on this. And what I want is to understand it, or just get enough complexity sort of suggested in there, so I sort of know where those shapes are, or what some of those colors are doing, kind of without getting hung up on it. It would be easy for me to just noodle in here, and the clock would run down, and you guys would be going like, he didn't do anything. So thanks for asking me. So it forces me to get to work again. I think when I talk to you, Eric, then I just start relaxing like we're sitting around having a cup of coffee, and I my sense of urgency starts to evaporate.
Well, it will evaporate at exactly 30 minutes. So,
I got 30 minutes left. Okay. Okay. You ask questions, I'll just paint.
well, yeah, well, as people come in, if they have questions, I'll certainly ask them. But it's fun to see what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah. It's
Now, do you have a tendency to put, do you put certain things in first? For instance, do you put your sky in first and then work forward, or do you work backwards? What's your typical approach?
that's a what that's a good beer drinking question. Okay.
I
I
like beer
often will
drinking.
put I mean, what I really want is to get like three, most things are 2 or 3 values as sort of a thumbnail or a NOTAN type of a study would suggest, like this, it's sort of like there's a light gray, a medium gray, and a darker gray. It's not like there's a huge range of value in this image. It's because of the rain and all that stuff and the
Right.
clouds. Gosh. Ask the question again. Oh yeah, do I start with the sky? Okay,
You're breathing a little too much pastel dust there, Bill.
I think so. Okay. I do start with the sky sometimes, but mainly just to say, okay, that's the value of that. And now I want to see the value of, like, if I'm doing a landscape, it might be sky, tree, and ground or something like that. So I want to see the range of values sort of established as shapes. Whether it's the sky or a granite wall, like in this case, it's just, I want to see what this is relative to this, relative to that. They're different colors and they're different values to some degree. So you want to just sort of get those operating, and you can kind of study their relationship. That's so it's not like do the sky then the tree. It's actually get your basic value structure going. And so
All right. Big shapes, value structure.
yeah.
And do you, what kind of pastels are these? Somebody said, what's the brand? Are they dry pastels? I don't know what that means.
Aren't yeah, these ones you have to spit on them to get them to work. No, I've used a variety of them. I'd say the most ones I've used the most are Terry Ludwig, which I think are tremendous. I've also used Blue Earth, which I think Dakota Art Supplies, I think, sort of has someone manufacturing them for them back east. I think maybe they're up in Michigan or something like that. But those are, and they're pretty, they're equally soft. Like new pastels are a very hard pastel, which I think if maybe you're doing figurative or something, you might want an opportunity to make a really precise, edge or line or something when you get into the face. Maybe not. But I'm primarily using Blue Earth, which they're about 2/3 the size of a Ludwig stick. So in some ways, they scale down. You can work smaller, or you can work more detailed with a smaller stick. Of course, you can break a Ludwig in half or into 1/3, 2/3, and get them going.
Yeah, then you get two for the price of one. Hey, do you use a fixative or anything? Do you spray things down?
Good question again, and the answer is no. Just because it changes the colors of things.
All right.
That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it at all. I know Kim Laurier is a great pastelist, does use fix. In fact, I've been with her in the mountains painting, and you could hear this psst, psst, kind of sound coming from her neck of the woods. And I look over there, and she's using fix, and I think that's fine. I guess I'm sure it's a little bit toxic, so that's why Kim has to hold her breath the entire time she's painting. But I just got frustrated, especially I'm on paper, not a panel. So if you spray, like even if it's an alcohol-based fix, the paper gets wet and it starts to buckle up, right?
Right.
It won't be flat anymore. So that's the first thing. Then if you don't cover it all the way, where the fix lands, it slightly changes the value. Just like when gouache dries, it changes value. when you spray fix, you'll get a dot of spray, just like a rainwater. If you get rain on your painting, on your pastel, it usually makes it dark, a slightly darker drop where it hit. Same with the fix. So then you either get the speckled look on your painting, or you got to put more on, and then at that point you start to melt the lights. I think the contrast. So it just turned. I think if you just said, "Oh, I know it's going to do that," and then I'll just keep working on it, then you're fine. But if it's sort of like, "No, this is how I want it to look," and then you spray it and you've changed it irrevocably, it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
So I think it's just more whether you incorporate it as part of your process or not. There's nothing wrong with doing it.
Brazil is watching. Canada is watching. Niagara Falls. And Randy Sexton is watching. No pressure.
Oh,
Hey,
Randy, how's
from
it
a couple
going?
of towns away.
Go Vallejo. If they have a football team or whatever.
He's not in Vallejo anymore. He's in Benicia.
Oh, Benicia. Oh, that's right. Well, his studio was in Crockett.
He was in Crockett. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Over by the sugar factory.
Yeah, the old sugar factory.
The old sugar factory.
That's well, let's see here. Okay. God, Randy's watching. How come you didn't come to Yosemite, Randy? Huh? What? Okay, you guys didn't invite me. I would have invited you. Okay. Let's see here. I'm still noodling around. Basically,
I was talking to somebody the other day about, they had been painting in Yosemite. I think it was probably Paul. And the temptation when you're in a place like that where everything is massive and you have all these iconic things, the temptation is to want to paint those iconic things. And yet you're focusing in on some very small areas, which I think is probably a really great thing. But I tend to want to go after the big iconic stuff. How do you get beyond that? It's kind of like, well, I made this trip here. I'm thinking I should paint the Eiffel Tower, but
the Golden Gate Bridge. And yeah, I've always advocated. Can I get some water, please? Patty?
Oh, water, yes.
I've advocated against painting
today
the
we get to watch Bill choke to death on camera. It'll be a iconic moment.
There we go.
Oh, Randy says he's packed and ready to go. All right, Randy, we'll meet you there.
Okay, deal, bud. All right.
Hello, Denmark.
I think with regards to that question, Paul will confirm this, but I have always sort of rebelled against the icon just because I think it's a distraction and it becomes like the symbol. And so you're dealing somewhat with people's expectations of what that symbol should look like. And this argument could be completely, dismantled, I think. It's just the way I thought about it is, there's many beautiful things. You go to that park and it's like, well, I saw Half Dome, I saw El Capitan. Okay, let's go get a hamburger. There's so much as a painter, there's so much going on that this very same qualities that are in a symbol are in everything all around it. So there's no pressing, what's the mandate or this urge to paint the famous thing, because I think the qualities exist all over that place, and that you can enjoy or celebrate or explore that stuff. And that's a little dark. I just want to see because there's these simple but quiet graphic things going on up here. I just sort of have to,
very subtle.
Yeah, maybe too subtle, but we'll see. I just want to see how that works. Anyways.
What have you learned from the film industry and in terms of creating scenes or compositions that impacts your artwork, or was it the artwork that impacted the scenes or compositions?
A film's a different animal. Like things
Hello,
that.
Pakistan.
Let me think about this. I think A lot of composition in film relies on symmetry or the center of the shot, whereas in static imagery, like in a painting, you unless it's sort of like a religious iconography or something, I avoid symmetry, keep things out of the center. But in film, it's different. And the other thing about film is that it's a sequence of images. So you're moving the eye from one thing to the other, whereas in painting, the eye is moving within, it has the chance to move around, right? But in film, it's 28 frames a second, right? And you're going from shot to shot to shot, or the shot itself is moving, or you're rooted in looking at like an actor or an actress talking, and so you're engaged in that, not visually investigating the space that is described. So they don't behave the same ways because of the fact that they're different mediums, even though they're both visual. One is moving and one is static. And so I think generally that symmetry in film works fine, but symmetry in painting it works. There's plenty of paintings that do work, but in general, I think an imbalance, a pleasing imbalance, moves the eye around, and the painting's not going anywhere. It's your job to make the eye go inside of that rectangle or whatever. So,
well, let's hope it's going into a collector's home. That's hey,
there you go. Nice segue there.
Yeah, king of segues.
Yeah, I think I had exhausted my intellectual depth on that topic anyway.
I was bailing you out.
Thank you, Eric. I'll pay you later. No, it's funny. It's like I used to try to convince the director, oh, I got this great idea for a shot, and that I could convince him, yeah, we should do that. And then the editor would come to me and go here's my problem with that idea. You sold it to the director, but I'm cutting to this, and the eye is in the wrong place in the frame. If I go with your shot composition, when I cut to this shot, it doesn't work for me. And that was a real lesson. You realize.
Oh, I never thought about that. So they're going to try to go from move the eye from one shot to the next and kind of in the same place.
Exactly. And
that's pretty sophisticated stuff.
Well, film is sophisticated. I mean, it's just a different animal in that regard, and you start to appreciate it. At first, you're like, what? And then after a while, you realize, okay, it's got its own set of rules, and it's based on a sequence of things, one after the other in a specific order, that generate tension or dynamic, like release or whatever, how fast you're cutting. So it's the idea of going from shot to shot that is the nature of that medium, not just staying in a single place, if that makes sense.
Yep.
These.
Hello, Wales, United Kingdom. Welcome. We're trying to figure out how to get Prince Charles to come to Watercolor Live. If you guys have any ideas on how to get to him, and I'll buy him a ticket. That way he can come. I'm sure he could afford his own ticket, but I'm sure he likes free stuff too.
Well, yeah, maybe. I guess he can't drive over in his Aston Martin. I've been watching The Crown, and it's. I've not seen him painting in that series. If you've been watching it.
No, but I went on to they have the Britannia that you can tour now. We were somewhere, I can't even remember where we were, where they have it out. And I toured the Britannia. I took a group of art collectors through Europe last year, and they had an easel out. They had a French easel out on the back of the deck of the Britannia with his watercolor stuff. So I'm sure it's not the only one.
Was he using Winsor
Newton? Art store. I'm sorry?
Was he using Winsor Newton?
I would imagine he has to. I think, they have a certain, I don't know what the designation is, but there's a designation in the UK where it is essentially blessed by the crown or something. And I know Winsor Newton is one of those brands.
Like a command performance for manufacturing?
Probably.
Jesus. No pressure for him. You might say, oh, the prince is on the yacht painting. Please do not disturb. The press is right behind him, flash bulbs are going off.
I'm sorry, but I'm painting at the moment.
Get away! Get away!
Get away.
Well, Churchill liked to paint. Of course, he
The
wasn't
Britannia's in
painting.
Scotland outside of Edinburgh, says Elaine. Well, yeah, we were in Scotland. That's right. That's where it is. Sure. I went twice because my wife missed the tour, so I went back and went through the tour with her too. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Okay. What's one thing that's funny is because of this sort of what's the term? I'm in sort of this incredibly constricted space to accommodate the
camera.
The camera.
Yeah,
I have a pretty big room, but I'm sort of in about an 18-inch space between the camera and the easel, and so for me to back out and see this thing is not really easy. Anyways,
hello from the Netherlands.
Cool. All righty.
Pakistan, welcome. People are giving me a hard time in the comments about my horrible British accent.
Oh God, I'm sure mine was worse. Yeah, we think we're funny when we do it as Anglos. It's probably like we're just massacring.
Yeah, we're probably insulting people. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah, Eric, basically it's his fault, everyone.
My fault.
He inspired me. Let's see here.
Hello from Egypt. Don't you people sleep? Man, it's got to be late in Egypt and Netherlands. And well, probably about 9 o'clock, 8 or 9 o'clock in the Netherlands, I'm guessing.
Yeah, just about bedtime, like we surmised, huh, Eric?
Maybe not even. It's probably only like 6 hours ahead. I should know that.
Well,
hello from Indiana.
Hey. Your hot chocolate out. All right, is this one broken? All righty, what do we got here? I got a big hole up here. I've done nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, let's correct that. Let's fix that, Bill. It's a lot of pressure painting in front of 10 or 11,000 people.
You didn't say there was that many. Oh God.
Well, by the end of it depends. You're a pretty famous guy, so typically an average day by the end of the week, you've got 10,300 views. We had somebody the other day had 16,000. So it could be as many as that, or it could be like one. We'll just have to see how it goes.
It's funny. I was going to paint a bunny, to be honest, literally, because I go out birding a lot. I shoot photos of birds, but when I'm out there, I see all these rabbits running around. So
Can you speak up a little, because when you're not facing the camera, we can't hear you as well.
Okay. I go birding a lot, which is as therapeutic as painting, to be honest.
Birding?
Yeah.
Is that spotting birds or is that killing birds?
Oh, wow. All right. Yeah, it's looking for birds.
Oh, cool.
And identifying them, binoculars, a bird guide, camera, maybe. So I end up seeing a lot of bunnies when I'm out birding. Where I go, I've often encountered rabbits. So I'll photograph them, and then I painted a few of them for fun, just like little exercise in the studio.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd do a bunny today, and so I did a practice one last night, and it looked so god awful. I said, "Oh God, I got to go back to good old landscape, my my savior." So that's why you're getting this landscape, because I failed on the bunny, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, that was probably a really good decision. I'm just
saying. I asked Bill Cohn to come on, and he just painted a goddamn bunny. I can just imagine your indignation. Yeah, I'm glad I bailed on the bunny too.
Are we having fun yet? I start getting looser as I get closer to the holidays. And this is day 244. I mean, at day 250 on Monday, I don't know if I can take it anymore.
Oh, I think you can. I didn't realize you were actually doing something every day. That takes perseverance. I salute your work ethic.
Well, I
Far
have
greater
nothing
than
else
mine.
to do. I mean, there's just nothing going on.
Well, sounds like there's, we may have the vaccine will be coming in the spring, and we can actually have in-person meetups, things like that. Wouldn't that be nice?
I understand that they have to use bunnies in that vaccine, so we may not have any bunnies.
Well, many a bunny has been sacrificed for medicine in the years past.
Oh no,
Part
the
of,
negative
part of
comments
this,
are already coming in.
I know.
How dare you
Oh,
say that?
everybody somebody's asking if I've already hit the tequila. That was last night, JM. That was last night.
Let's see here. How bright can that get? This probably looks pretty ridiculously clumpy.
I think it looks great.
The thing that's fun about these types of images, not necessarily what I've actually produced for you, but just the idea of them is, when the values get really close and you got strong graphic shapes up here, stronger than what I've painted, but I'm getting there. Because you got these diagonals, like there's a slope here, right? You can see it here. And so, but there's very little detail on it, but you just sort of want to feel like, oh, there's a plane going this way, and then there's a wall. I think what's ironic is actually, this is an iconic painting. It's Yosemite Falls, I believe, is right here, but it's dry. This time of the year, there's no water coming down it. So it's no longer the icon.
Well, it's interesting. You've got, if you squint down, you've got 4 triangular shapes meeting each other. You have the triangular shape from the top, and it's like they all kind of culminate at the top of the trees.
That's
a
where
really
the bomb
interesting
is going to go
composition.
off. The compositional bomb will be ignited right there. I guess it goes towards the center in an oddball way. I think you're going to sort of go boom, boom. And to me, these things kind of, they can go this way as well as that way, I think. I agree, there is that. But it's almost like lightning hitting a tree, but it's actually just a pattern on a rock wall a couple of miles away. So far, I'm okay with it. If you keep mentioning it, I'll probably start getting nervous. Oh, maybe it's the wrong idea.
Yeah, well, you don't want me criticizing your work. That's probably
you
a bad
can.
idea. I love the transparency. Well, some of that's showing through.
Don't worry, I'll wreck it. The thing is, like when I lay it down, it's like I'm just painting with matchsticks and toothpicks in a way. I just gotten used to this sort of primitive type of mark, and you can keep laying them on top of each other as long as you use light pressure, and then eventually there's this kind of weave of mark making that overlapping. See for the camera, like marks going this way, marks underneath, and so they kind of blend together in. It's again sort of like a tool-based default, just like brushes or palette knife. Any of those things have sort of a code in a way, or a calligraphy to them.
Well, there's a lot of magic in layering. Sometimes I'm working on a piece right now that I've covered up 3 or 4 layers of stuff, but there's little tiny remnants of it kind of bleeding through, and it just gives it more sense of reality or depth or something.
Yeah, and it's kind of a, what's the right word? Casual complexity. Where you wouldn't get that any other way. It's sort of continuing to go on it. I think of Jim McVicker is probably one of the most stellar examples of a guy who works and works on the same image, and he keeps modifying it based on his new perceptions of light, because he's going back out in nature to paint the same image on more than one occasion. He might work on it for weeks or seasons, and so you get a level of you earn that texture. It's embedded in the work in a way
That's a great line. You earn that texture. Terrific.
I,
Hello, Switzerland. Hello, Vancouver Island. Now, you guys need to make sure that you share this so that other people can discover it, especially Bill.
what are you talking about?
We want Bill to get the all-time record of viewing.
I'm pretty late to the party on the exposure side of things, to be honest. I remember Carol Marine was telling me about 4 or 5 years ago, you got to get on Instagram. What's that? I didn't know what it was. And then about last January, my daughter, who had been telling me, hey, Dad, you should be on Instagram. So she actually helped me put together an account. And I posted one image and then didn't post for months after that. And then recently I've started posting, so I'm pretty poor at that whole side of it. But it honestly, it's what you're doing now, like calling out these people that have logged in from around the world. This morning I got a letter from the Ukraine from an artist that had seen my work on my blog, which I don't do much with anymore, but she'd gone through my stuff, and she also worked in the film industry in animation, but she was going outside the paint. So you realize that the internet really does work for finding ways to connect artists to each other all over the world. That's one of the good things about the internet.
Well, and that's what's been wonderful about this daily broadcast is that we've just, between this and the 3 o'clock broadcast where we're showing our videos, we have reached just hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, and we're all one big happy family as artists. We have differences in other ways, but we all have art in common, which is really beautiful. Bill, we're kind of running out of time, buddy.
Okay, well, I think this got better.
Oh, it's really pretty.
This has yet to be realized, and I never really landed the trees, but it's sort of like that's about, maybe halfway sort of accomplished right now. It's not too.
Well, what you can do is your daughter can help you post it tonight or tomorrow in the comments, and that way you can show us if you decide to complete it.
Hey, good idea. I just might.
Why don't you come on camera again so we can see you? There's a lot of people tuned in, and it was just this. They haven't seen your beautiful profile yet.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. All right. There we go.
Do you want
Good.
a tour of my studio or anything real quick?
Yeah, do a quick, let's do your studio real quickly. Yeah.
I got to walk out of the camera here and then grab my iPad. Hang on.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Where do you live, by the way? What town?
I live in Moraga, California.
Oh, Moraga. You're near Paul.
Yes, I am. Okay, so there's, camera, mic, back camera. All righty. So here's my setup. And you can see I'm just, for the demo, I've been trapped into this little space between the table easel was where the camera was.
Right.
I'm using a Hughes easel, which, you think, God, you work so little. Why do you need that easel? But it's so I can pin up reference. I can work on multiple paintings at the same time. I just have a pin board that I use for that. So I can, basically have a lot of stuff all around where I'm working and reference that or move from one piece to another.
That's nice. That's a great idea.
Andy, there's room for more than one person to work in here. Of course, if no one's working in here, then I just fill it up with my stuff. These are some, let's see, just some of framed pieces, unframed.
Do you frame your pieces under glass?
Yeah, I have to, because they're unfixed.
Yeah.
Because I think even Kim still is under glass because it's work on paper. But, these are just plein air from the last, spring and summer.
So you must have a small board you pin to when you're working plein air.
Yeah, just a little it's like an 11 by 14 piece of foam core, and I just clamp my paper onto that.
All right.
I'm trying to paint birds every once in a while. As you can see. And let's see here. We just got it like a sink, and here's just some more paintings and things. And I always like rocks and water. Can't get away from it.
Nice.
Just
Beautiful.
Tilden Park, and just like some flowers in the backyard, painting, things like that.
Very nice.
Here's a big piece. That's from Carmel, actually.
Lovely.
All right.
Well, awesome. Bill, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Beautiful space. Oh, we want to see out the window now. You've got us teased us there.
That's like when
it's full color.
Yeah, you can walk up to that hill across the valley there. That's a nice. We used to walk our dogs up there.
I used to go over to St. Mary's Church in Moraga to paint. I love painting that property.
Oh, yeah, my son went to college there.
Yeah. Well, Bill, thank you so much. Everybody, a round of applause for Bill Cohn. Bill, thank you. And hopefully we'll post everything on the, you'll get the finished image posted for us if you will.
All right. Well, Eric, thank you so much for having me. I always get so nervous doing this, but you're so good at it. You just make me relax, and I had a good time.
Oh, good.
So, thanks a lot. And,
all right.
Thanks,
well,
everyone,
thanks for doing it, Bill. And there'll probably be some questions in the comments later, and you can go back in. Thanks again.
Okay. You're welcome.
All right. Our guest today is Bill Cohn, Pixar artist, and of course, fabulous artist on his own. And what a treat to watch him do a pastel painting. I want to remind you guys of a couple of things. First off, we have an event called Watercolor Live. It's going to be a worldwide event, watercolorists from all over the world teaching and attending. I think we're up over 600 attendees already so far, and maybe more than that. I haven't looked this week. But join us at watercolorlive.com. It's coming in January. If you can't make the dates, there are replays available that you can go ahead and sign up and then watch on the replays. I will be here on Thanksgiving at 12 noon. It will not be a normal show. I won't have any normal guests. I might have some guests, just saying. And we've got some special prizes. And so you want to be here Thanksgiving. Coming Monday will be day 250. Day 250 means big prizes, and we're going to do the Battle of the Mediums, which means oil painting, gouache, watercolor, and pastel doing the same scene and battling for the winning prize. That'll be fun, and you guys get to vote. Plus, you'll have prizes. We're going to duke it out. That's Monday. And a reminder that Black Friday, we've got a lot of very special, we very rarely discount our things. We've been doing it this year, obviously, because we all need to survive. But we've been, every day at 3 p.m. we have the art instruction videos that we produced. We're sharing some of those pieces every day at 3 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. As you search and Streamline Art Video, and those have discounts attached to them. But coming up on Black Friday here in the States, we have deep discounts on some of our videos for one day, or maybe it's for the whole weekend. I'm not sure. And that only goes out to the people who are on our mail list. And so if you want to be on that, you go to Lily Art Video. That's one of our video companies, Lily, Lili, artvideo.com. And right towards the top, you'll see a banner that has says Black Friday specials, sign up. And then you sign up for that, and then you'll get the emails. You'll get our others. And so you'll get barraged with lots of stuff about all the things we're doing, because we're always announcing events and virtual events and conventions and books and artist prizes and just all kinds of things. So there's a lot going on. Anyway, thank you for watching today. Today is day number 244, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm Eric Rhoads, publisher and founder of Fine Art Connoisseur and Plein Air Magazine. Remember, keep your head in the game. Stay positive. Do not doom scroll. Don't focus on the negative. Focus on what you love. See you tomorrow.